Hello everyone, welcome to Digital Delights with CyberKnight. My name is Faiz Aftab, I am a business unit head at CyberKnight. Today we have with us Abdul Rahman Tariq Bhatt, Regional Sales Director Middle East at SolarWinds, and Ahmed Tariq, Executive Manager at Delta Line International. Thank you guys joining us. During the today's podcast, we are going to discuss the observability and its role in the cybersecurity. So when it comes to the security, you can't protect what you can't see. And that's why the many organizations, those can visualize and understand their data are in much better positions to thwart cyber attacks and the breaches. Observability is the way for the business how they change to detect and remediate the cyber attacks. So, Abdul Rahman, as an industry expert, why do you feel that observability plays a pivotal role in the context of the cybersecurity, and what are the key considerations for the cybersecurity practitioners when it comes to the full visibility and the management of their environments?
Well, first of all, Faiz, thank you for having us here. It's a pleasure to be part of this podcast. Look, observability as such is not a security tool, right? It's not defined as a security tool, but it's a very beneficial tool for security analysts. See, security analysts have this nuance, they have this habit, they have their own tools around, AI, around visibility, orchestration, and stuff like that. But where observability plays a key part is to understand the changing environment. The modern IT environment is changing very regularly, right? So how do you correlate between the fragmented data that you can get, application data that you can get, and tie it up from a security perspective is where observability will play a key part. You see, security and observability go hand in hand. As you said, and I think you summarized it perfectly, you can't fight what you can't see, right? And you can't fix where you cannot see the fault. So that's where observability is critical in a security environment for the security analysts to do their job well.
Thank you. As you know, as a recent report has found that the most sophisticated observability practitioners cut downtime by 90%, which is now $2.5 million versus the $23.8 million for the observability beginners. So, Ahmed Tariq, as a seasoned professionals, how the observability and the security works together, and what are the challenges and the benefits are of the modern observability?
First, thanks for having us with you guys here, and it's really a pleasure to be and part of this podcast. So, security and observability are two main important keys for software systems, where actually both together works to ensure integrity and reliability and performance of the systems. For example, observability generates and collects a lot of data from logs, traces, events, and those data, once it's being handled and processed and being implemented in our organization, actually this data can help to identify the system behavior and identify if there is any potential threat. And based on this, alerts can be triggered, and those triggers can be used by security measures to prevent and help ensure that there is no, or to prevent securing the organization. Additionally, observability in case of incident response, it allow and provide a real-time visibility to the network, to the systems and the data itself. And this helps to identify the root cause of this incident to prevent future incidents. Additionally, I can actually closing this part with this point, which is observability. It helps to the systems to prevent from the threats and the exploitation happens, and this can be done by observing the behavioral of users and the system itself, and based on that it can detect the patterns and if there is any constraints or continuous behavioral type, and this can help the systems to prevent the attack and exploitation that happens before it happens. So both security and observability work together or create a holistic approach to predict systems and prevent security hazards before it happens. So if we are talking about observability challenges and its importance, actually observability brings a lot of challenges and a lot of benefits to the table. But the main challenges are the data overload, the complexity, and at the same time, the cost. So data overload, since we are using a lot and majority of the data that the organization is using, and those kind of data that's been taken from traces, events, and logs, processing those data and handling those data actually can cause a challenge. Secondly, for complexity, as you can know, now we have systems being developed into a very complex way. There is multiple layers of systems. If we are talking about cloud, if we're talking about, let's say, containers, if we are talking about a different type of assets, those kind of systems can cause complexity, where observability has to identify and follow and know exactly where the data flow from here and there to all type of organization assets. And this is actually one of the challenges. Finally, the cost. When you are ensuring to have an observability strategy ensured and covered the whole stack of systems and everything, so this actually comes with a cost, because this requires investing in tools, investing in skilled personnel, investing also in infrastructure. But at the same time, with these challenges, still observability can bring a lot of benefits. One of them, it's the rapid response to the threats and detection for those threats. Actually, this helps the system to prevent such kind of security hazards before it happens. So, and this helps the companies to reduce the cost of dealing with the incident after it happens. So this prevents this from happening in the first place. Secondly, it helps with the scalability and efficiency. So having observability practice being implemented in the internal organization, it helps to identify where is the bottleneck, what is the current resources capacity is being utilized internally, and based on both, it can help to what kind of resources we need, we can scale, we can actually expand, and we can use for later expansion for the organization. At the same time, this helps the organization performance to be in a better way, and make sure that it's more reliable to the users by making sure that bottleneck is being resolved, and knowing that kind of patterns by the user behavior is being identified as being threat or actually normal behavior. So all of these benefits actually works in a way to make sure that the company performance and its data system and everything, it's being reliable, and you can make sure that the data itself, it has an integrity to make sure that the business and organization, they can advance in the market without having a kind of concerns in their mind. That's in general.
Amazing. How wonderful you have explained it. Thanks for the insights, gentlemen, and it was our pleasure for having you with us today. Stay tuned for the more digital delights with Cyber Night.